Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I am back on the War Thunder Update 1.87 dev server, and today I'm going to be looking at the vehicle that made everyone say, oh look, it's that vehicle from that 1 April Fool's event. Anyway, so LEOPARD 2A5, the brand new German top tier tank, tier 7 that is, 10.0 BR on the current edition of the dev server, although I am presuming and in some ways hoping that that will actually increase. So the gun, 120mm Rheinmetall L44, we have that on a few other vehicles in game already. You also have a single 7.62mm machine gun on top of the turret, and 16 76mm smoke grenade launchers in the same position as on the 2A4. Turret rotation, 40 degrees per second, pretty insane there, and the vertical guidance of the gun is -9 and +20, which also isn't too bad. Reload rate of 6 seconds. My crew is fairly high level at the moment though, so that could of course change, and it is the dev server, so anything could change anyway. Crew of 4, 59.5 tons of weight. You now have the 1,500 horsepower engine. On the previous version of the dev server, it was like 1,300 and something horsepower. Now it is 1,500. So we have the fully upgraded engine, and also 42 mile an hour top speed. So similar to the LEOPARD 2A4. Now going into the armor, we're going to see that it is fixed. If you saw my previous video on the 2A5 on the dev server, you'll know that on the first iteration of the dev server, the armor was not here and the tank was actually removed from the dev server after a very short while. Now, the tank is here, the armor is here, and it's all good. As you can see, well, the turret front's literally impenetrable. There are 1 or 2 weak spots though, namely sort of the almost level actually upper frontal plate section. That is easily penetrable, and then also just down below the composite, as you can see, that there's a big composite block there on the front of the chassis. Just above it you can get through, and just below you can get through. For the most part, you're going to be wanting to hit the side of the chassis. Now the turret sides, again, near impenetrable. Only the rear of the turret isn't, but of course that's not really the crew compartment, so not much is likely to happen there unless you're lucky enough to set off the ammo rack. Sides of the chassis, on the other hand, very easily penetrable. If you can get a shot in there, it will likely go through, possibly knock out some crew members. Maybe even if you're at such an angle, it will even knock out the engine, which could be incredibly useful. But as you can see, the frontal section, you want to aim just in between the sort of chassis and the turret. Similar position to the Abrams' weak spot, actually. But there you see, a big composite block there, right on the front of the chassis, as well as the blocks on the turret. And you may actually notice the turret configuration for the composite is very similar to the LEOPARD 2A4, and you may be wondering, wait, I thought there were the arrowhead pieces on the front of the turret. They are not actually composite, they are literally just effectively sheet metal bolted on, and due to the angling, it adds quite a lot of effective thickness onto the front of that turret. Now, a lot of people have obviously been saying that the front of the tank, apart from obviously a few very small weak spots, is near impenetrable. That's making it overpowered. But you got to think, in a tank combat situation, the LEOPARD 2A5, whoever's driving it, is never going to be able to keep the front of his tank constantly facing the enemy. People will flank, people will be able to hit the side armor at an angle. Even if you hit the side armor at a very high angle, generally from what I've experienced on the dev server, the shell will go through and it will knock out some vital stuff. So it's not too OP. And as you can see in the background, there's some camouflages, and of course here is the April Fool's desert camouflage, which I'm going to be using for the remainder of this video. Well, now that we've looked over it in the hangar relatively quickly and explained some of the reasons people are a bit annoyed about this thing being added, let's go look at some gameplay, shall we? So into the first game. Obviously all of this is on Alaska on the dev server. It was all the games were on Alaska. LEOPARD 2K, pretty damn good there. Now what I found with this shell, I'm using the DM33. This is the best shell for the L44 currently in game, and it is the best shell this tank can use. And what I did find with it really is that sometimes it will fragment and instantly kill the enemy tank, and other times it will not. I did try doing shots on the same position of armor on enemy tanks, and the effect is different, so it's not the most consistent shell. But at least one thing you know for sure is that generally it will pen. Of course, there are exceptions. For example, Challenger 1 and 2, the turret cheeks, you're not going to pen that. Anyway, this LEOPARD 2K, his armor is so thin that my shells aren't actually doing much. That's one thing. On the dev server, I was only taking out the DM33. Big piece of advice that I've realized that I thought I'd give you guys: take out the DM33, use that as your main shell, but also take some Heat FS rounds, just because lightly armored vehicles, the DM33 has so much pen that it has a tendency to go straight through. But as you saw there also, the angle penetration is very good on that upper frontal plate of the Leo 2K. It went straight through and knocked out the driver, giving me another kill. But as I was saying, take Heat FS, use that on the lighter vehicles, and that will be great. Obviously, DM33, sometimes you get lucky, you go into a light vehicle, the shell fragments and knocks out the entire crew. Other times, not so much. For example, in this situation, I reckon a Heat FS could have actually been better, depending on where I hit the Type 74. Anyway, though, so I was set on fire there. Moving on to the next clip, though. You know, here's a little leopard. He moves out. I shoot him. Gunner out. Track out. He cannot move. He cannot shoot. I'm about to kill him, and oh, hello there, Mr. Russian. And bang. So he's dead. And obviously the leopard, then I get an assist for him because someone else took the kill. Anyway, though, Russian tanks actually, as I always say about them, easy to kill. The turret, it's got 3 crew members, 2 in the turret, and they're in a straight line across the turret. So if you can knock out both those crew members, obviously the tank can't function with one guy, so that's going to be a kill. Russian tanks, that's the one issue I have with them. 3-person crew, very low survivability. You can only really take one of them being knocked out. Anyway, though, driving along in this game, moving along, and what's that over there? Oh, I see something moving. Move out, and what is it? Oh, it's T-55, and yeah, he can't shoot. I just sort of hit the top of the upper frontal plate there, hit in. I don't know if I set him on fire and he exploded, or if he J'd out. Here's a Charlie, he shoots me, nothing happens. Obviously, as I said, as you will actually see in a minute, Challenger 1, the turret cheeks cannot be penned by the LEOPARD 2A5, at least from majority of angles. And yeah, there we go, that's the Charlie down. It did take a few shots. As I said, weak armor, the shell does tend to go in one side, out the other, or just not have much of an effect. Obviously, the Charlie, front armor's great, side armor not so much, so it had a similar effect there. Generally, the DM33 is a shell for penning the frontal armor of most tanks you will face. I would say maybe use the Heat FS for side armor, but obviously in the battlefield you don't always have the option to switch shells. Anyway, this situation was very interesting. Driving along, and you know, there's an enemy tank in there. I've been shot. I'm on fire. I'm being shot at. And I look around, and what is that? Oh, it's a Leo. Bye-bye. One shot. Obviously, hit just sort of that shot trap where the turret is and just exploded in. And obviously, the ammo went up. And there's a Charlie. So he's firing at me. I'm just sitting here waiting for my shell to reload. And, you know, lower frontal plate goes in. Doesn't kill the driver, surprisingly. I'm pretty sure that shell went through the head of the driver, but nonetheless, cannon breach out, some crew members are out, he's not doing anything. I do actually test and try and shoot the turret cheek, and as you see, it doesn't pen. So one thing we know for sure, don't shoot the turret cheeks of a Challenger. He's now on fire, and now I know that the driver's there. Last crew member I need to knock out, and you know, there we go. That is yet another kill for me in the Leo. This is certainly very fun. When I went onto the second dev server, I had the intention, fly the G91R4, maybe do some games in helis if the queuing isn't too long. Obviously, G91, the ARB queue times are insane on the dev server. Tank games, not so much. So I did one game in the Leo, and then I was like, you know what? I'm really enjoying this, and I had already done quite a few games in the M1A1, the Challenger 2, the MBTs I wanted to drive out on the first dev server. So this second dev server, a vast majority of my time was spent just having fun in this thing. And as you can see, Charlie comes along, and Kaboopski, lower frontal plate. That was a Mark III, actually. There was the ERA on the front, so the extra ERA. But obviously, APFSDS, ERA has no effect on it. Abrams, track out, gunner. It's always satisfying when you knock out the track and the gunner. He can't shoot and he can't move, so you know that you really got them pinned down. And now I just move in, aim up on the lower frontal plate, and Kaboopski, there we go. I don't know if he was able to shoot, actually, but his turret started moving just as I shot. And if he was able to shoot and I had shot 1 second later, that could have ended differently. Anyway, though, start of the next game, I hid near the point down here, waited for an enemy to come in. Hello, Leo. Fired a shot in. You know, he's on fire. He can't drive. He can shoot. But he does fire at me. He's got an L44 gun as well. Nothing happens. In most cases, the L44 can't pen. Even this tank's own gun cannot pen the front of it. And there's a BMP. You know, he was already damaged, so that sort of helped, but also hitting it from the back rather than the side, it meant the shell was actually able to go through a lot more efficiently and knock out more crew members, so that was likely why I won. Russian tank there, as you see. I hit sort of the upper section of the side armor, went in, knocked out the turret crew again, so pretty good. Moving along though, I've got a lot of gameplay really. Just watch the kill clips, guys, enjoy. If you are one of those people who's always been saying Germany suffers, just watch this and just enjoy. And as you see here, I am Germany, I am suffering. He is Germany, he is suffering. Clearly Germany suffers. I know we're both in the same tank, but still, clearly Germany suffers. But anyway, there we go. That was a Leo 2A5 kill. It's really interesting though, because I can demonstrate on the dev server, since it's super like mixed games constantly, I can demonstrate how to kill the Leo 2A5 using the Leo 2A5. And of course, the M1A1 actually has a higher penning APFSD shell, so if this can do it, then the M1 can do it. And there's a little SPAA boy. You do want to be careful with them. They can pen the side armor. Geopards, all those sort of things will pen the side armor. Small infantry fighting vehicles can pen your side armor, so it's nowhere near impenetrable. It's good, very good in fact, but it's nowhere near impenetrable. And one other thing I love, the turret cheek armor can actually come off, just like in the April Fool's event, so nice little touch there really. I'm not entirely sure if this is literally the April Fool's model updated, or if it's an entirely new model. Do let me know if you actually know what it is. Turret rotation though, far more than any other new MBT I believe, 40 degrees per second there, absolutely insane. So anyway, to sum up this video, is this thing overpowered, yes or no? I wouldn't say overpowered. I would just say that it's very good, and you need to know what you're doing to actually kill the thing. Effectively, don't shoot the turret cheeks, don't shoot the central bit of the chassis frontal armor, the gap in between the turret, just sort of the top of the chassis and the very bottom, or the side armor of the chassis, not the turret sides, definitely not the turret sides. But anyway, Leopard 2A5, hope you have all enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed gathering footage for this, and I cannot wait to test this out on the live server personally. Anyway though, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider smashing the like button, maybe subscribe to the channel if you do, that would be massively appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.